Hey, it's me, Party Demon. Stay in school, cause school is cool. Whoa.
School of Beards, Chapter 21, Beetle's Battle. Grab your sword, lift it high. Good day, fellow ReddX Industries partners. I am back with more tales of cringe from Standard High. So, Beetle and I were talking, and we all know that Dr. ReddX holds a PhD in beardology. Yes, from the University of ReddX Industries, where you can enroll for only $5,000 per semester. We'll print you a certificate. I'll print whatever you want on it. Please sign up. However, due to my extensive research, I surely at least have a master's in beardology at this point. Indeed, I've documented enough to count as a thesis. What say you? Did you pay your tuition? Sure, I'll print whatever you want on it. I love the start to this episode already. And now on with the show. English Beards AP advice. This comes from Wrestler, Wee One's girlfriend. We were taking them to a splatter room to celebrate Wee One's 17th birthday, and I was making conversation. I asked about their prom plans and how school was going. I'm very lucky. I truly like the girl that my daughter's dating. She's a wonderful young woman. Anyway, I digress. Wrestler mentioned that school was okay, except English class. It's curious that class was mentioned. Were you making casual conversation or were you digging the dirt? Huh? Because I don't got a problem either way. Let's just be honest about it, you know? Mr. Englishbeard is your teacher, right? I asked, and Wrestler rolled her eyes. Sure, you could call him that. Oh, God, what's he done now? I asked, and it was here that Wrestler began her tale. Wrestler prides herself on her extensive knowledge of English and literature, including having an extensive vocabulary. She's one of those rare and amazing teenagers that actually wants to learn and sounds intelligent when she speaks. Have I mentioned that I adore this young woman? You might have. Anyway, this is why she's in AP English 3. She wants to be challenged. She wants the college credit AP tests bring, and she wants to learn. On this particular day, Wrestler was sitting in class when Englishbeard called her over to his desk.
Wrestler, come here, please. I need to speak to you,
Englishbeard said. Wrestler took her earbuds out, saved her work, and went over to his desk. Yes, sir?
I was just grading your last essay. It's very good, but you use so many big words. I need you to tone that down. The graders may not know what they all mean,
Englishbeard advised. You got the internet right there, bro. Why not learn something yourself, you know? I also love how he says graders, like that's so anonymous. Is somebody else grading these papers, Englishbeard? Wrestler just looked at him, stunned. Her English teacher had basically just told her to dumb down her writing. She finally got her composure to speak. What graders, sir? You're the one grading it. Englishbeard stammered,
not me. The AP test graders, when you take the AP test.
Wrestler looked at him. She was stunned by his advice for the AP test. AP tests are run by College Board for college credit. Using big words should be encouraged, not discouraged. Wrestler looked at him and considered if she should reply at all. She really didn't want to argue with him, but she was completely stunned. Finally, she decided against it, shook her head, and sighed. Okay, sir, I'll consider that. She turned and went back to her seat, deciding that arguing with him was pointless. I mean, the only thing I got to say about big words and all that is like,
I waste time, say lot word when few word do trick.
Are you kidding me? I asked when she finished her story. That did not happen, Beetle said. Wrestler nodded. Oh, yes. Yes, it did. I sighed. Englishbeard asked an AP student to dumb down her work. I wish I could say that I was surprised. Beetle shook his head. Well, at least he's giving work this year. Has he just been here a long time? Why is he teaching like the AP English? I don't know, I guess teachers really in a shortage. We scraping by with what we can. What we got is Englishbeard. Wrestler says, sure, if you count one essay every 3 weeks giving us work. Wait, what? That's all you get? Miss Daria gives us way more than that, Wee One cried. That's because Miss Daria is getting you ready for the AP test, something Mr. Englishbeard should be doing as well. Bloody hell, I'm so sorry, Wrestler. You've not had a good English experience in high school. Last year, COVID beard, this year, English beard, I said, and I really did feel bad for the kid. Public education, what you gonna do?
It's a living.
Wrestler nodded. Yeah, it's annoying. Maybe senior year will be better. What fairy godmother gonna come down and give you your dream teacher? Out of all this cast, come on now. You're doomed for failure. Luckily, Wrestler is very smart. It's my sincere hope that she will be able to prepare herself for the AP test, because it is obvious that English Beard sure as hell isn't. Of course, when I found out last year that they were giving him an AP class, this is exactly the sort of thing I was expecting. Unfortunately, he did not exceed my expectations one iota. I mean, he's really busy, you know, watching Game Grumps in class. I wish I could get a paycheck for that. Our second story, irreplaceable. So we are currently in March. School ended in May. Standard High has yet to replace me in the English department. Do I think that I'm irreplaceable? No, nobody is. I have to say that I do feel slight vindication that they haven't found my replacement yet, and I know for a fact that they have done at least some interviews. What does bother me is that the students are the ones suffering. And remember, when I took on graphic design, I was still willing to do ESL on the side and help out for as long as they needed me to, until Miss Dean told me to stay in my lane. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't take the free work. And also, I'm sort of surprised that they're not just taking the first person that walked in the door. Good, I'm glad they're refusing some people from interviews. Anyway, if you will recall from previous chapters, this is the time of the year that ESL has state testing. Now, on the bright side, they finally went digital with the writing samples. Just government bureaucracy decades behind. Becky, oh wait, we renamed her Kathy. Kathy did not have to gather samples from the teachers this year. The way Callie and I did last year, they built the writing into the test. As for the actual testing, well, I would have helped with it had they not told me to stay out of ESL. I think Miss Dean knew that she had burned that bridge because, yeah, she didn't even ask for my help. This is quickly becoming a hostile work environment, isn't it? Instead, they got our TC, testing coordinator, to help Kathy with the organization of the test. This was fine, because TC was supposed to have helped Kathy and I the year prior, but she didn't. Okay, fine. I was a bit irritated. Just a bit. But whatever. Then, I walked into the math workroom one day to heat up my lunch when a math teacher that we will call Jackie saw me.
Hey, Mandy, I got a question for you,
Jackie said. I think Jackie also teaches woodshop or something. I turned around while my food was warming. What is it?
Don't ESL teachers usually administer the state testing for ESL students?
Jackie asked. I froze. I remembered what Miss Dean had told me before. I have nothing to say about ESL or their testing this year.
Okay, I know you're not like ESL anymore, but in the past, isn't it ESL teachers?
Jackie pressed, and I sighed. I have no comment about ESL.
Come on, I'm just curious. Besides, they had me proctoring, and all I got was a book. And the first page of the book says it should have been part of the training, but I ain't had no training,
Jackie said, and my eyes widened. What? They didn't train you? Nah, just read the script. Number 2 pencil. You'll be fine. Get in there. You got this.
Nope. I asked them about it, and they referred me to the book. And the book says there should have been training,
Jackie said. And Jackie was right. There should have been training, and if they were going to have teachers proctor that hadn't been trained, then they were out of state compliance. Not my circus, not my monkeys. As the microwave beeped, I pulled out my food to stir it. That sounds like a familiar line. I'm proud of you for putting it into practice.
Your face tells me all I need to know, Jackie said.
I didn't say anything. I have no comments on ESL, I said as I left the room and went back to the safety of my cave. How they did state testing was truly not my issue this year. No more 8 o'clock nights for me this year, no! My contract hours were 8 to 4, and that is... Okay, typically I work from 7:15 to 4:15, but whatever. Either way, my ESL days were over. I mean, this wasn't my lane anymore. Sometimes it's hard to let go, but it hurts more to hold on to it. So yeah, whatever. Kids are suffering, boo-hoo. Figure it out. What do you want? It's a public school. Alright, so this brings us to today. Beetle is in his English 1 meeting, and Miss Dean's in there because, duh, she is. And there was also Devin. Devin is a bro. He is awesome, and he's someone that Jay is actually work bros with. Beetle. Jay is Beetle. I don't know if everybody's gonna catch that. Devin Beetle, work bros. Okay. He teaches both English 1 and English 2, so he goes to the meetings that he is able to. On the day that he was in there and Miss Dean was talking about our teaching request forms, basically we fill out a form every year to tell them what we want to teach, and then they allegedly use those to aid in making subject placements. It was kind of like when you tell the Navy where you want to be stationed, and they always give you the one that's on the bottom of the list. Are we hiring another ESL teacher this year? Devin asked. Miss Dean shrugged nonchalantly. Depends what enrollment looks like next year. Beetle looked at her like she had just sprouted a second head, but of course he said nothing. Oh, is ESL enrollment dropping? Sonia asked. What do numbers look like anyway? Devin pressed, and Miss Dean sighed. We have the highest number of ESL students in the district. I so wish that Beetle would have called her out and mentioned that I had been willing to help before she burned that bridge, but it is my husband we're talking about. It's probably a really, really good thing that I wasn't in that meeting. Oh, come on. I thought Beetle was going to battle. It was right in the title. I said pick up your sword, did I not? Fight for all that is right and good, for God and country. Devin says, wait, so we have the most ESL students and 1 teacher. We never replaced Mandy, Sonia chimed in. Beetle looked down and tried his best not to get involved in this conversation. Come on, bro. You just, come on, out on a limb, just a little bit. Miss Dean pursed her lips and, in an exasperated tone, had to finally admit, we've been trying to hire someone to replace Mandy all year. We haven't been able to find anyone yet. Beetle relayed the story to me, and I smirked. She so knows she burnt that bridge. I'm loyal to Standard High and would do almost anything for this campus, but I'm also not going to step up when I was pushed aside. I think she knows me well enough to know that, I said. If she came to you hat in hand and apologized and asked for you back, you'd go. But this is just a bunch of egos flying around everywhere. It's not a good look. Nobody likes to see this. I hate that having that job opening is negatively impacting our students, but I kind of love that Ms. Dean shot herself in the foot by cutting me out when I had been so ready to step up. Karma really is a biatch. I guess that teacher shortage is realer than we thought, isn't it? But again, I also like that they're turning down people. They don't just let anyone walk in there. So, you know, there's 1 point in their favor. Third story, one-sided research. So Beetle and I were done for the day. The bell had rung. Contract hours were passed over. It was finally time to go home. We were headed downstairs with Wee One to leave when we saw 2 students. Tay, one of mine, the animation student I'm tutoring in English thanks to Typical Beard, and Leah, one of Beetle's tracking students. They were sitting in the stairwell listening to music. What are you still doing here, Leah? Beetle asked. Just killing time, Leah replied. Beetle nodded and we continued walking towards the exit. Hey, Mr. Beetle, you're like an assistant teacher. Can you come and assist me in my English class? Leah asked. Beetle and I both froze in our tracks, and my jaw dropped. Wee One went to sit down. She knew this was going to be a conversation now. I am not an assistant teacher, Beetle said. See, we're dragging more ego into this. It's fine. I'm whatever you need me to be. Just let me go home. OP shakes her head, jaw still dropped. Look, you made Miss Mandy speechless, Tay said. What? You have your own classes? Leah asked. Yes, ma'am, I do. I have my own classes. I have a master's degree. I'm not a teaching assistant. I'm a full teacher, Beetle said. Bro, they're just kids. They stupid. They dumb as hell. I'm going home. I'd expect them to say some stuff like this, honestly. And thankfully, OP does elucidate a bit more for us, saying, now, to a non-teacher, that's me, maybe this doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is. To be a teaching assistant, there's no formal training. If you graduate high school, you can be a teaching assistant. I mean, whatever. They're kids, they're stupid. I'll let you think what you think. Being a fully fledged teacher requires a minimum of a bachelor's degree and certification, and in Beetle's case, he went beyond that and got a master's and is now working on a doctorate. Is it somewhat pretentious? Maybe so, but we do work our butts off to be certified teachers, and all teaching assistants have to do is graduate high school. Are they not helpful? Are they not assisting you? I don't understand the vitriol towards teaching assistants. They graduated, they got the job. They're trying to help you out. So yeah, calling a teacher a teaching assistant will get a rise out of almost any teacher that I know. But see, I didn't have this context. How can you expect a couple of high school girls to know the difference? I don't think they're trying to needle you with this, okay? It's really not worth going in on. Although I am proud to see Beetle going to battle. Small victories, I guess we're gonna take those. Leah says, oh, I just see you help other teachers. And Beetle nodded. I can totally see why you would think that I am a teaching assistant, but no. I'm a teacher with my own classes. I just also help teachers so there's a second teacher in the room sometimes. My jaw was closed by this point, and I just nodded in agreement. Oh, cool. Can you come help my teacher because he needs help? He's impossible. And it's supposed to be advanced English, Leah said. See, that's as far as the kid thought it out. My teacher needs assistance. I will get a teaching assistant. Anyways, OP starts to point out that Beetle doesn't go into advanced classes because he helps kids that need support in English, and then I remembered that that isn't something that we talk about. Because of privacy, inclusion isn't a term used outside of other teachers. As far as students know, we just have 2 teachers in some classes. Most students aren't even aware that Beetle is a sped teacher at all, which is by design. See, another thing I didn't know, we're learning so much. Who's your English teacher? Beetle asked. Leah sighed. Mr. Pastorbeard. Oh? What's he doing that's so bad? I asked. Was this conversation before or after the Are Mexicans Bad essay question? We're supposed to write a research argument, but he'll only let us use one database, and I can find articles to support my claim because all the information on that database is leaning one way, Leah complained. Yeah, the only database he allows him to use is Breitbart.com. Sponsored by, no, just kidding. I wouldn't take their money. So, what's your research question? Beetle asked. Does abstinence-only sex ed work? And my position is no, but the database he's making us use only has articles that are positive about it, Leah said. What? But Standard High has access to several databases. Why can't you use them? OP asks. Mr. Pastorbeard said those databases are biased, so we can only use this one, Leah explained. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Even a child could see through this rhetoric, right? What? But they literally just catalog information and keep you from hitting a paywall. It's still up to you to identify the bias, but every article has a bias, I said. That sounds so cool. But yeah, we can only use this one, Leah repeated. I could see it in Beetle's eyes. He was pissed. Wow. I thought about doing my topic on abortion rights, but all of those articles are one-sided opposed to it, and anyway, why should I have to change my topic because of limited access to information? Leah was clearly frustrated. Is that like a normal thing to do? It doesn't seem like a normal thing to do. You will only use this one database despite all of the other ones we have. Wow, that is not okay. You should be able to research either side of the position, I sighed. I miss Miss Callie. She graded hard, but she was a good teacher. Way better than Mr. Pastorbeard. I can't stand him, Leah vented. I miss Miss Callie too, I said sadly. Beetle leaned in close to Leah. You didn't hear this from me, but you need to go tell all of this to Miss Gabby. And if she doesn't do anything, go tell Miss Daria. But I didn't tell you any of that. Leah said sadly, but I feel like I'm the only one with an issue with him. I nodded. I know, but trust me when I say that you aren't. So did he really infiltrate the school system just to like sway all these kids to his way of thinking? I mean, I guess it's not that far-fetched for the right wing to do it since the left side has done it so proficiently, but you didn't hear that from me. Leah asks, Miss Callie's gone for good this time, isn't she? I nodded. She has a new job. She's gone for good. And Leah sighed. I know, Miss Callie's my best friend and I miss her too, I nodded. But you really do need to talk to Miss Gabby and Miss Daria. For real. Okay, thank you, Leah nodded. We have to go, but it'll be okay, Beetle tried to reassure Leah. Not unless you can make Mr. Pastorbeard change, Leah said as she and Tay went to go sit back down. I mean, we could change him for just a completely new human being. Is that what you want? It's probably what most people want. Beetle and I sighed, and we got wee one and left. In the car, I looked at Beetle. Love, did you notice the position that she mentioned happened to be the same as the religious positions? I asked. Beetle nodded. I did. I think I'm gonna have a chat with Gabby myself. You should, I said. Didn't Callie say something about fighting the use of databases? Beetle asked. Yep, he called them biased and said he wouldn't use them. Sounds like anything that disagrees with him is bias. This won't come as news to Gabby, but she needs to know how it's affecting students, I said. Beetle nodded and we went about our day. The next day, I texted Beetle. So, are you gonna talk to Gabby today about what Leah said, or do I need to? Because somebody's gonna. I wasn't gonna let non-confrontation allow this to be swept under the rug. Beetle claimed he'd go talk to Gabby right at the start of her next period, and I agreed to give him a chance. And I waited. And to his credit, Beetle did go talk to Gabby. I know this because he texted me saying, "This may go deeper than we thought. I might need some advice." Oh, crap. Yeah, you can't fire past him because he's Miss Dean's friend or something like that? So what happened now? Well, Beetle did indeed go to Gabby and explained what Leah had said. Gabby looked down and sighed. I know, there's nothing I can do. Beetle looked at her. What? You're the English 2 leader. What do you mean there's nothing you can bloody do? I've been to Miss Dean. She told me Pastorbeard has more experience and he can do what he wants, Gabby said. Uh-huh. Much as I suspected. Come along, detectives, the game is afoot. And the trail is only a mile wide. Everybody can see what's happening here, right? Beetle's eyes widened. Wait, what? Gabby nodded. Yeah, I've tried, but Miss Dean has pretty much written him a free pass. Gabby, you're on the district curriculum team. What do they think about him just ignoring the curriculum? Beetle pressed. Gabby shook her head. I don't think Miss Dean cares about what the curriculum team thinks. That is bollocks, Beetle exclaimed. Oh, there he goes. Some righteous anger. Now who you gonna point it at? What you gonna do? Gabby just nods. I agree, but my hands are tied. Miss Dean's already told me that I'm not going to be an English leader next year. I'm certified in history, and I'm seriously considering going over there to try and put some distance between Miss Dean and I. She's gunning for some of us, especially the OG teachers that were here before her, no matter how good they are. Ego, there's so many egos, I just don't know what to do. Beetle nods. Wow, I really don't know what to say. Maybe I need to go get my science certification. Okay, thank you. He then went and relayed this to me and asked what I would do. I think we all know what I would do by this point. Love, you need to go to the district, I said. I'm not an English 2 teacher. I'm not sure that's my place, he said. This student told you what's going on and you're involved now. You need to tell Jamie. If not Jamie, then at the very least tell Abby. I don't know any of these freaking people. There were 3 district people over English. Our district was so big that it was divided into 3 sections. Jamie was over the section of our campus, but Abby used to be an English teacher at our campus before she got promoted. In truth, Abby was my mentor when I first started out, so she's honestly who I would have gone to, even if she wasn't necessarily over our section of the district. I mean, I will be excited to see the district get involved, see some heads roll. Everybody likes a little bit of bloodshed, don't they? I think I'll reach out to Abby, Beetle agreed. She can decide how to handle it at district and talk to Jamie, just don't put it in writing beyond asking Abby to talk. You should speak to her on the phone, I advised. Good idea. Okay, Beetle agreed. We emailed Abby and said that he needed to discuss a situation with her. None of this was okay. It was clear that Pastor Beard was pushing his ideology on students via limiting what information they could access. This was the exact opposite of the neutral stance that teachers should take. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think anybody can stay like true neutral, okay? It's just the way of the world. But yeah, if anybody's taking it too far, it is Pastor Beard. Come on, let the kids learn. That's what they're here for, allegedly. Anyways, this is where we're gonna leave it for now. What'll happen? No idea. Beetle emailed Abby a few minutes ago, and he's leaving for Florida, which is not the state that we live in, to care for an autistic kid that needs supervision for the rest of the week, and then we got some spring break. I do know that neither of us is ready to let this go. We're not dumb enough to take on Pastor Beard directly, but this situation will not stand. Hell yeah, jump that chain of command. They used to get so mad at me in the Navy because I was leapfrogging that thing all the time. Thanks for reading or listening, and thank you to ReddX for continuing this saga. I just went back and listened to the first 10 videos, and it's interesting for me to have that archive of my beard encounters. Remember to show ReddX some love, do all the things until the next time. Yeah, this is an interesting series to me because teachers do seem so infallible when you're young, and then you grow up and you see that they're just a bunch of humans bumping egos together and forming little cliques and pecking each other to death, and goddamn, what a sad and sorry state of affairs. The world is just people going into rooms and saying things. It's all a big swizzle. Nobody's here for any reason except a paycheck, okay? And that's the way it was. But I do appreciate you guys listening to this one, you know? Please do all the things. do. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. You know, many links in the description. You can share this video around on Discord or Twitter or Twitch or TikTok, or you take your pick. Whatever social media you use, I'm over there at least sometimes, somewhat, maybe. And of course, as always, bless up to my Patreon patrons, my YouTube channel members, wonderful people that they are. You guys doing the most out here helping me to stay afloat. I appreciate you. Please come on back tomorrow and see what we got in store. Always remember to take care of yourselves, friends. Wash your hands. It's very important. Also, always remember, most importantly, that you are loved, you are worthy. You definitely deserve it. And I shall see you in the next one. So until then, friends, bye-bye.